Good morning, students. Namaskar, Suprabhat. I am C. Ankit Sharma, your income tax faculty. For today's session, today we will be discussing the provision of residential status and scope of total income. So I believe you must be studying very hard to achieve the goal of your life to become a chartered accountant as soon as possible. So today we will discuss the provision of chapter number 2, also a small story thought for the day, and we will take queries from basic concept chapter number 1 from illustration number 1 till illustration number 12. So whatever is your query, if there is any query from illustration number 1 to illustration number 12 of basic concept, we will take that after this class, like after 9:30 a.m. So we will take the query of chapter number 1. We will discuss the provision of residential status and of course our thought for the day and a very beautiful story for all of you. So let me see if there is any. Good morning, Chandana. Good morning, Linga. Good morning, Shamli. Good morning, Neeraj. Good morning, Shalini. Good morning, Satish. Good morning, Mujahid. Good morning, Pooja. Good morning, Mehak. Good morning, Archana. So good to see you all once again. Aditya, good morning. Sakti, good morning. Harsh Mishra is saying, good morning, sir. Why is the difference in tax calculation under default tax in illustration 6 and 8? We will discuss that, of course, Harsh, but as I said, that we will take all the illustration problem after 9:30 a.m. After discussing the provision of residential status. We will take all those queries from your illustration part. Okay. So in today's session, as I have said, that we will discuss the provision regarding residential status. This is our chapter, but before that, let me share you with the thought for the day. And it says, dream big, stay positive, work hard, and enjoy the journey. So these are 4 big steps, 4 big suggestions, 4 big advice from my side to all of you in this journey of becoming a chartered accountant. Of course, you have a big dream, and that, of course, you have already made to become a chartered accountant. You have to be positive. Stay positive is very important. Do not take the negativity. Do not think that this cannot be done. If somebody is coming to you and saying that CA is a very difficult course, you cannot do that. That is wrong. It is a difficult course, but you cannot do that. That is wrong. So be positive all the time. It's never late. Okay. Work hard. Of course, there's a basic key to get anything in your life. There is no escalators. There is no lifts. You have to take the steps to become the person what you want to be. So you have to work hard, and the very, very important thing, enjoy this journey. These days will not come back. When you will be a CA, maybe you will miss these days of your struggle. So please enjoy this journey. And I love to be the part of your journey. We all are the part of your journey. So that was the thought for the day. Now the concept of chapter number 2, residential status provision. What is the meaning? What is the importance of residential status provision? In our country, the taxability of your income, the impact of this chapter is utmost important. It depends what kind of income is going to be taxed in a person hand on the basis of his residential status. We have discussed some specific word like resident, non-resident in basic concept chapter. And I've told you that we will discuss in detail what is exactly the meaning of resident, etc. So this chapter is going to tell us what is the meaning of resident, non-resident, etc. and what is the impact of the taxability of income on the basis of a person's residential status. So in our country, the taxability of income depends upon your residential status. Like if you are a resident, a certain kinds of incomes are going to be taxed in our country, in your hands. If you're a non-resident, a certain kinds of incomes are going to be taxed in your hand. So before solving any question, we have to find it out. The first step for calculation of our gross total income is this: whether what is your residential status, how it will impact your taxability of income, that we will also see in this chapter. So this chapter is divided into technically two parts. First is residential status, and the second part is impact of that status on the taxability, what we call incidence of tax. Understood? How do I determine my residential status? This is the big question. And you can see, as per section 6 says, under Income Tax Act 1961, total income of each person is taxed on the basis of his residential status. A person's nationality has no effect on his residential status. It means a citizen of India can be a non-resident and a citizen of UK can be a resident. So whether you are a citizen of India or not, it does not impact your residential status. The taxability of income. We should say that citizenship could impact your residential status. What exactly means? The taxability of your income will not depend upon your citizenship. The taxability of your income will depend upon your residential status. Okay. So now what it is and how we are going to find out the residential status, that we are going to discuss in today's class. In Zoom, I guess there is some issue. That's why whiteboard is not working. So we are discussing all the diagram, etc. on our Word file today. So to find out the residential status, as we have discussed a definition of person, we have discussed a definition of person in basic concept, in which there was various kinds of person was there. And you must have seen that we also discussed the rate of taxes according to the person specification. In the same way, we are going to find out the residential status of all the persons one by one. First of all, individuals. If you are an individual, like a human being, how do we find our residential status? That whether we are a resident, non-resident, etc. If you are a HUF, Hindu undivided family, then how we are able to find out the residential status? Then, if you are a company, then how we will find the residential status of a company? And then others, like partnership firm, LLP, etc. All other will fall in this last category. So we have technically 4 steps: individual, HUF, company, and all other person category will fall in this last category. Okay. First of all, we will start from understanding the provision from the point of view of this partnership firm, LLP, etc. So if there is a partnership firm and you have to find it out whether it is a resident or non-resident, then for that purpose, you have to apply these provisions. First of all, we have to find it out the control and management. The control and management need to be checked where it belongs. Control and management means the business meetings. The business meetings of that particular partnership firm. Listen very carefully. We are not saying where partner resides. We are saying where business meetings are held. Where is the control and management means where are the business meetings of that partnership held in the previous year. If it is wholly or partly in India. If the business meeting has been held wholly or partly in India, that partnership firm will be regarded as resident of India. Very simple concept. There would be information in the question that where the business meetings are held. So if the business meetings are held, in partly or wholly in India, that partnership firm would be regarded as resident in India. If the business meetings are held wholly outside India, all the business meeting, then that partnership firm would be regarded as non-resident in India. Suppose there were 10 business meetings held in a previous year. If out of these 10 business meetings, 8 held outside and 2 business meeting held in India. Can you tell me the residential status of this partnership firm if 10 business meetings are held outside India and only 2 business meetings are held within India? So whether it would be a resident or non-resident. Archana is saying resident. Shakti is saying resident. Pooja is saying resident. Shalini is saying resident. Very good. Mehak is saying resident. Neeraj is saying resident. Harsh is saying resident. I believe all you must have give the correct answer. Linga is saying resident. Aishwarya is saying resident because non-resident condition says wholly outside India. Absolutely correct, Aishwarya. Kuldeep is saying resident. Well done. Adil also give the correct answer. Radhesham is saying resident. Uh, Ashlesha is saying resident. Very well done. Pooja also said resident. And exactly the Spreadner side. Exactly. That would be a resident partnership firm. It's so easy. Even if there would be only one business meeting in India, in place of two, suppose there is only one business meeting in India and 9 out of India, still it would be a resident. If 10 business meeting, all of the business meeting has been held outside India, in that case, that would be a non-resident partnership firm. On query portal, Yogita also said resident, correct. Sandhya also saying resident. Nagaraj was also saying resident. Well done, exactly. So that was the status of partnership firm and others. It's too simple. Very, very, very easy. Next, moving on to other companies. So if there is companies, we have to find out the residential status of a company. So for that purpose, we need to bifurcate these company status into two parts. Either it would be an Indian company or it would be a foreign company. Clear? Simple. Indian companies will always regarded as, it's a fixed provision, Indian companies will always regarded as resident. Always. So Indian companies would be always regarded as resident in India. If there is a question in which it has been mentioned that ABC Limited company is an Indian company, then you can assume that it would be automatically resident company. So we do not need to check any condition to find out the residential status of an Indian company. That would always be a resident. Understood? Now, in case of foreign company, there is a concept of POEM. It's not that poem. So the POEM means place of effective management. The POEM stands for place of effective management. So we have to find out the where that POEM reside or where is the POEM of that organization. So in that partnership firm, we find out the controller management. But in case of POEM, we have to search about in case of foreign company, we have to search about the POEM. So if the POEM, place of effective management in India, that would be resident foreign company. And if this of effective management outside India, it would be a non-resident company. I believe you must want to know, you all need to know what is the meaning of, what is the concept of place of effective management. So it is a good news. But what is the exact meaning of place of effective management? That is not in our intermediate part. That's going to be discussed at final level. So in examination, it would be mentioned directly that whether place of effective management is in India or outside India. So if the question has been written, it is in India, then you can treat it as a resident company. If it has been mentioned that it is outside India, you will treat it as a non-resident foreign company. So out of the residential status in four categories, individual, HUF, company or others. You have seen company and other provisions are very simple. Very, very simple. There is nothing. We have to find it out. Control and management concept and place of effective concept would be given in the question. Accordingly, you can find the residential status of company or others. Now, the main concept is individual and HUF. So, now we will discuss regarding the individual and other concept. Just give me a second. If there is any query, let me see. Neeraj is asking, sir, if firm in India and it held business meeting wholly outside India, so will it be non-resident? Yes. Of course, in all the cases, partnership firm must be registered in India. That's why it would be called a partnership firm. So in all cases, partnership firm would be registered in India, but we have to check the business meeting. So a business meeting outside India, that would be regarded as non-resident partnership firm. Clear? Pranav is saying, sir, how do we come to know when and where a business meeting has been held? That would be mentioned in the records that where business meeting has been held. Sir, what does business meeting means? Business meeting means a business meeting in which the decision regarding the business need to be taken. That would be given in the question. Do not worry about it, that Pranav. That would be given in question where the business meeting has been held. Okay. Does it mean a formal gathering of partners outside business place or informal? That would be a specific business meeting for business decision. And we do not need to worry about it because in the examination that would have been mentioned separately. Kuldeep is saying, sir, if in firm all meetings were held virtually, in that case, where is the server is? That would be the place of business meeting should have been considered. The main server from where the business meeting has been initiated. Tiwari Radheshyam is asking, sir, if Indian company has any subsidiary outside India, will that subsidiary be regarded as an Indian company? Good question. All the subsidiaries status would be exactly the same as per the holding company. So if there's an Indian company subsidiary outside India, that will also be regarded as same. Board meets AGM, EGM. Mr. Anil, what that does mean? I don't understand that. What do you want to ask? Okay, so moving on to the two remaining concept of taxability. Now we will discuss the provision regarding the residential status of individual and HUF. We have discussed about the partnership firm and company, and now the time to discuss the concept regarding individual and HUF. And I'll tell you, these provisions are little complicated in comparison to the company and partnership firm provision, what we have discussed. So Hindu undivided family concept we have to discuss and the individual. In case of Hindu undivided family, again, we have to find out the control and management concept. Same as we have discussed in case of partnership firm. Just a second. Okay. So in case of Hindu undivided family, the same concept of control and management apply, which as in case of partnership firm. That means if it is wholly partly in India, that would be regarded as resident. If that is wholly outside India, that would be regarded as non-resident. Same concept as in case of partnership firm. So if the HUF control and management, the business meetings, wholly or partly held in India, that HUF would be regarded as resident. And if all the business meetings are held outside India, then it would be regarded as non-resident. So you might be thinking that if the concepts are same, why we are discussing HUF concepts separately? Why we did not discuss these provision, or why we did not included these provision in partnership firm, etc. There is a reason behind it, because if a partnership firm become resident, that is the final answer of that question. But if an HUF become resident, then there are sub-classification also. There are sub-classification also if it becomes resident. So if it has become non-resident, the answer is there. You need not to go further. But if a HUF become a resident, then there is a sub-classification also we have to find out further. But in case of firm, there is no sub-classification. So technically, a partnership firm or a company could be a resident and non-resident. But an HUF could be a non-resident, but if it become resident, then there are two sub-classification in case of HUF. Either that HUF would be resident and ordinary resident. Either it would be resident and ordinary resident, or it would be resident, not ordinary resident. And this sub-classification we have to find out on the basis of karta. We have to check some condition upon karta to find out the residential status of a HUF. We just need to find out the control and management of HUF, business meetings. If they are held in India, resident, not held in India, non-resident. But if the HUF become resident, then we have to check some condition on Karta, the elder co-partner of the HUF. We have to apply some condition on Karta, and on the basis of those conditions, either HUF would be a resident and ordinary resident. In short, we call it ROR. Or either it would be a resident and not ordinary resident. We called it RNOR. What are those conditions? How we will find out this? This we will discuss after the residential status of individual, because they are interconnected. If we'll discuss individual provision of residential status, then you will be able to understand what are those conditions, those need to be applicable upon the Karta. Okay. So what are those conditions that we will discuss after the completion of our individual residential status condition. So you will be able to understand them easily. Till now, everything is clear? Okay, so Neeraj is saying, sir, in the Word file, click in the first page, then press enter till new page appears. I will definitely try, because we never used Word file for the diagram, etc. We are only using the whiteboard of Zoom. But today whiteboard was not working, so that could be a reason. Thank you for suggestion, Mr. Neeraj. Appreciate that. Sir, Tiwari Radheshyam is asking, sir, would you please explain how HUF control and management be outside India wholly? Due to the business meeting. Control management meaning exactly the same as per partnership firm. So that means business meeting. Suppose there is a Hindu undivided family reside in India, but all the member decided that we will conduct our business meeting outside India in different countries. Some meetings are in Sri Lanka, some in Afghanistan, some in China, maybe, etc. So that could be control and management outside India. Next is Linga is saying clear. Clear. Mustafa is saying, for others, if meetings are partly held in India, then they are resident, and if fully outside India, it will be non-resident. In company, if it is an Indian company, automatically resident, and for foreign company, we have to see the place of effective management. Absolutely correct. He is also suggesting control plus N can also, okay, so I'll also try control plus N in that enter part also. Thank you so much, Mustafa. Mac is saying clear. Radheshyam is saying thank you. Okay. So now we are discussing about the individual residential provision. Now these are very, very interesting. And this says an individual could be a resident or a non-resident. Clear? And the residential status of individual are two types. Either he would be a normal resident as per normal provision under section 6(1), or he or she could be a deemed resident under section 6(1)(a). Clear? So individual could be a normal provision resident under section 6(1), or he or she could be a deemed resident under section 6(1)(a). Control plus N you are suggesting. Yes, very good. Thank you, Mustafa. So We will discuss the individual provision in detail over here. We need a big page for that. So we are discussing individual provision on this page. So as we discuss, individual could be non-resident, or he could be a resident. The resident could be, as we discuss, as per normal provision resident under section 6(1), or deemed resident. What is deemed resident, etc., that we are going to discuss. Do not worry, under section 6(1)(a). I hope it's clear till now. Now, under normal provision, there are certain conditions. Part A. These are general conditions. General, we should say normal conditions. Normal individual case. There are some basic conditions. Now apply these conditions upon yourself. Now there are some basic conditions. Now if you need to find it out whether you are a resident in India or non-resident, we are individual, you and me. So if I need to find it out whether I am a resident in India or not. So first of all, I will apply normal provision upon me, and on the normal provision, normal basic condition is this. So if you are able to fulfill any of these conditions, there are two basic conditions. If you are able to fulfill any of these basic conditions, you will be treated as a resident in India. The condition number one is, if you are in India more than equal to 182 days. If you are in India more than equal to 182 days in previous year in India. So if you are in India for more than or equal to 182 days in previous year in India, you will be called a resident in India. Now, what is the previous year? The previous year is 25-26. So that means we are talking about this time duration. 1st April 2025 till 31st March 2026. So if in this duration you stays in India for 182 days or more, you will be treated as resident in India. Now, currently, actually, we are in this time scenario. We are in this timeline. Today is 28th of October, 2025. So from 1st April 2025 till 28th October 2025, if you are in India for more than equal to 182 days, you have to calculate those days is from 1st April 2025. So if you are in India from 182 days or more in this previous year, you would be treated as resident in India. So from April, May, June, July, August, September, and till today, 28th of October, I am in India for more than 182 days. So technically, I am a resident in India for this previous year. So if you also stays in India in this duration for equal to or more than 182 days, you would be also regarded as resident in India. So that is the condition number one. So if any individual fulfill condition number one, he or she would be regarded as resident in India. Clear? Any confusion? I believe no, because this is simple condition. Now there's one more basic condition. The condition number two. Or. So this is or. So that means you need to fulfill any of this condition. And if you fulfill any of these conditions, in that situation, you would be regarded as resident in India. The condition number two says, if you are in India for more than equal to 60 days, only 60 days in previous year in India. So you might be thinking, this condition automatically fulfilled if we fulfill condition number one. In condition one, we need to be in India for 182 days. And in condition number two, we need to be in India only for 60 days. Then what is the fun of having condition number one? Because condition number one is not alone. There is one more condition. This is individual condition. But this condition having two situations you have to fulfill. First is, you must be in India for equal to or more than 60 days in previous year. That means the same 25, 26. And you have to fulfill one more situation. If you want to fulfill condition number two, there is one more situation you have to fulfill, and that is more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. In India. Now you have to be in India for at least 365 days or more in 4 preceding previous year in India. Let me give you example how we need to check these conditions. Do not worry about it, okay? Suppose Mr. A, fine, he was in India for previous year 2025-26 for 200 days. So whether he will fulfill condition number one or two, we have to fulfill only one condition. Any of it, if it has been fulfilled, then you would be a resident. So you can see in this situation, Mr. A has been fulfilled condition number one. So he would be a resident of India. You need not to check condition number two. If one is fulfilled, your answer would be resident. You need not to check condition number two. Is it okay? Situation number two. In previous year, 25-26, he was in India for only 100 days. And in last 4 preceding previous year, he was in India for 300 days. Now when we say preceding previous year, that means except your previous year. So we are talking about this time duration. 24-25, 23-24, 22-23, and 21-22. So for in these 4 preceding previous year, technically I can say the time period from 1st April 2021 till 31st March 25. In those 4 years, he should be at least in India for equal to or more than 365 days. So in previous year, he is in India for 100 days. In 4 preceding previous year, he is in India for 300 days. So tell me in the second example, whether he is fulfilling any condition more than 182 days in previous year, does not fulfill. More than equal to 60 days in previous year, yes, fulfill, but more than equal to 365-day condition, which is the second situation of condition number 2, has not been fulfilled. That means does not fulfill either of the condition, 1 or 2. So that would be regarded as non-resident. Understood? Suppose in place of 300, if I changed it to 400 days. In current year, 100 days. In the 4 preceding previous year, 400 days. Then he would be satisfied condition number 2 completely. And in that situation, he would be treated as resident. The number of days stay in India would be given in the question. So do not worry about it. That would be given in the question. Now the case is that if you fulfill any of these two conditions, in that situation, you would be regarded as resident in India. And if you are not able to fulfill any of these conditions, you would be regarded as non-resident in India. Now, some clarification is there, which says the number of days stay, whether it's 182, it's 60 days or 365 days, there is no requirement of continuous stays. It does not say that you have to be in India continuously 182 days or 60 days or 365 days. No, there is no requirement of continuous stay. That means, suppose firstly you was in India for 100 days in this previous year. Then you went outside India for some days. Then you again came into India for 100 days. So in aggregate, these limits need to be checked. So initially you were 100 days, you went outside India, came back for again and stayed in India for 100 days. So you are in India for 200 days. Condition full. Again, the same is applicable for 60 days. We do not need any kind of continuous stay to fulfill these conditions. We have to check those days are in aggregate. In same way, for these 4 preceding previous year, it does not require that every year he should be in India for some day. Suppose in 24-25, he was in India for nil days. 100 days he was in India for 23-24. 200 days he was in India in 22-23 and 100 days he was in India for 21-22. So aggregate he was in India for 400 days. So condition of 365 has been fulfilled. Again, these days requirement, again, not required to be in continuous. If it is in continuous, it's okay. But if it's not in continuous, nothing happens. We have to see these number of days in aggregate to find out the residential status of that person. Clear? So first clarification is everything has been written in the notes, but I am just trying to tell you over here. No continuation is required. Mandatory. It's not mandatory. The second condition. The day of departure and the day of arrival in India. If you are in India and you are going outside India. So what will happen? Suppose today I have a flight. Suppose. Okay, I don't have a flight, of course. So today I have a flight at 6 p.m. going outside India. Okay, 6 p.m. So this day, for some hours, I would be in India, and from 6 p.m. till 12, like for next 6 hours, I would be outside India. So the day of departure and the day of arrival, जिस दिन हम इंडिया से बाहर जाते हैं और जिस दिन हम इंडिया में बाहर से आते हैं, in those days, there are some hours we are in India and there are some hours when we are outside India. So to solve this problem, how we will find out how many hours was we were in India and when we left India. So to erase that confusion, the provision has been made that the day of departure and the day of arrival would be completely treated as stay in India. So even if I am leaving at 6 p.m. today, the full day would be treated as I have stayed in India. Even I am leaving at 1 a.m. today, 1 a.m. So technically I am on only 1 hour in India, 1 a.m. But because if the day of departure and the day of arrival, those 2 days would be always considered as stay in India. So if I'm leaving at 1 a.m., full day would be counted as I was in India. And suppose I am coming from outside India at 11 p.m. tonight, still it would be regarded, today's days would be counted as stay in India. The day of departure and the day of arrival would be treated as stay in India. Full day we will treat as we have stayed in India. So these were two clarification for the purpose. I hope it's clear till now. These were normal cases. So if you did not fulfill condition A, first situation or second situation, you would be regarded as non-resident. But it's not completed yet. We need to discuss more provisions of individual. Let me see if there is any query. Okay, good. Mean is understood. Nagaraj is asking why the Income Tax Act uses numbers like 182 days, 60 days, and 365 days. And what the logic or relation behind it? 365 days. Look, I have already discussed this thing, Mr. Nagaraj, but there is a reason behind each and everything. But we cannot discuss why these provisions are there. Why? Because if we'll go into why it has been made, so it will take a lot of time of our classes that we do not have much time. And of course, these are not relevant for the purpose of your examination. It would not going to be asked in your examination ever. Why? Why deemed resident? Why condition this? Why slab rate is 2,50,000? Why slab rate for senior citizen is 3 lakh? Why for super senior citizen it's 5 lakh? Why it's 4 lakh for default tax regime? Why the range is 5%, 10%, 15%? So there are logic behind that, but we cannot discuss that. Okay. Like, look, I can tell you like 182 days requirement is technically in a year, government says if 50% of a year you reside in India, 50% or more, we will regarded you as a resident. As you score 50% in examination, you will clear that paper in the same way. Income tax says we need to check 50% reside in India in a year. So for a 365 days year, what is the half of 365? 182.5. So they ignore the fraction. So they consider it half is 182. Understand? So these are some reason, but we are not here to understand why. Because if we are going to discuss why, that would be really difficult to discuss. Okay. Mr. Nagaraj is saying, then scientist stays in space, how to calculate residential status? Scientists are not in India. If they are in space, technically that means they are not in India. So they would be non-resident, as simple. Okay, Neeraj is asking, sir, if I went to Japan on 2nd April and came again at 1st March, so I will be outside the preview of resident? Yes, you would not be in India for not even 60 days or 365 days condition if you're not fulfilling. Then in that case, you would be a non-resident. But it's too early to ask these questions because we did not completed residential status provision yet. It is a lot of provision yet to come in case of individual. So it's a request that do not ask this kind of question because maybe I am answering your Japan question right now that you are a non-resident, but when we will discuss further condition, there are some specific conditions also, special cases. We just discussed, suppose we have discussed point number A. So that means point B still to come. So after those B, C, A, B, C, D, when we'll complete it, then you can ask your queries. So it would be really easy to answer correctly. Shalini is also asking if in 182 days we go outside India for 2 days. Then it exclude or includes as live in India. What does that mean, Shalini? If in 182 days we go outside India for 2 days, maybe you are asking in 182 days, for 2 days we are leaving, departure and arrival. That would be included in 182 days. I'm not understanding your question exactly till now, Shalini. Ashwani is asking, I register for direct entry, but the current class already started. Please ask these kind of classes, question, etc. to the BOS via mail. Sorry, Mr. Ashwani. Hmm. Shilesha is saying these are basis of taxation which everyone should follow as law. Yes, law we need to follow. Why law has been made, only two-person knows, God and lawmakers. We do not need to know. You have to follow that. You have to follow that, and we are just following it. Okay. Aditya is saying, sir, some scientist work in ISRO. He goes to space. He is resident or non-resident. Aditya, ISRO is in India. So the time they are in ISRO, that days would be counted as in India. Fine. So if they leave the limit of India and went to space, for those days they will not be regarded as in India. So if those days are not more than 182 days, he would be a non-resident. If they stay in ISRO or in India for 182 days, they would be as a resident. As simple. Shraddha is saying both condition need to be fulfilled. No, Shraddha, it has been written or any one of them. If any one of them you have fulfilled, you would be a resident. Okay. Okay. Sadia is asking, good morning, sir. In the case of income from a business in Iran, 3,500, the income from a business which is controlled from India is included 80,000. What is this question? I don't understand. Okay, Pranav is saying, sir, if I enter India at 6 a.m. today and exit at 5 p.m. today, then will today will be counted as in India? Yes, today would be counted as is in India. Individual Mustafa is saying two condition, if condition any of the conditions satisfied, then he will be resident. He is outside India. He has to stay in India for 182 days. I would say, Mustafa, individual provision not yet completed. A lot of needs to become. So after that, you can summarize your provision. So this would not be the correct time to summarize your provision. Archana is saying, sir, for couple hours, if we stay in India, still we consider resident of India couple of hours. How it is possible? We have to be 182 days in India. So how it would be possible that in some couple of hours we would be called resident? I don't get your question. Mr. Nagaraj is saying Australian cricketers stay in India for play IPL matches more than 60 days every year. How to calculate? Sir, we have question illustration number 2 in a study material is sort of that question we will discuss. If they stay in India for 60 days or more, so they would be able to fulfill condition number 2, 60 days. But in 4 preceding years, 16 to 4, that would be only 240 days, less than 365. So they would be a non-resident. Ishwar is asking for person go outside India to work. I have just said we did not complete it individual resident provision yet. So student, if you are asking these questions, you have to be patient. Let me complete other concept of individual, then I will take these queries. Otherwise, you would get confused and there would be some queries which is not relevant also because I will solve each and everything in the provision. So your confusions would automatically vanish. Don't worry. Okay. So that was condition A, that was general condition. Now moving on to condition number B, there are some specific condition also that we need to see. So these were point A was Now B part is there, and that is special individual cases. Now there are three special cases. In case of individual, there are three special cases we are discussing. In the basic condition, you have seen that there are two basic conditions. If you fulfill, if you fall in normal cases, and if you fulfill any of these conditions, you would be a resident. Understand? Now, if you do fall in the special individual cases, there are three special cases. And for those special cases, only condition one need to be checked. Only condition 182 days need to be checked. For normal cases, we have to check both condition. If any one of fulfill, you would be a resident. If this will not fulfill, you would be a non-resident. In case of normal provision. In a special provision, there are three categories. Those fall in a special provision. But for those, only we need to check first condition. Second condition is not applicable. What are these conditional cases? Let me tell you. If you are an individual, the applicability is for, of course, individual. Those are citizen of India. This benefit is available only to the citizen of India. So, I am an individual. I am a citizen of India because I have permanently resided in India. And the document to find out the citizenship is passport. If you are having a passport, there is a column in which permanent country needs to be mentioned. And the permanent country, if it is in India, that means you are a citizen of India. If you do not have a passport, that means you automatically residing in India since birth. So permanently, automatically, you will be treated as citizen of India. So the check, the verification document is passport. If you don't have a passport, still you are a citizen because that means you did not went outside India ever. So you are automatically a permanent address in India. So in case of individual, if those are citizen of India, and if these person or this individual is going outside India, we have to apply this condition upon us. So I am an individual, I am a citizen of India. And suppose now I am going outside India in this previous year, going outside India in okay. So student, in a special individual cases, it is applicable only for those individual, those are citizen of India. Suppose a person who reside in India is not a citizen of India. I think there was some technical glitch. It has been resolved. So in case of individual, those are citizen India. And if those person going outside India for employment purpose or as a crew member of an Indian ship, like suppose I got an offer from any USA based company. Okay. So I am an individual, I am a citizen of India. And a USA based company asked me that come and join us in USA. And I am leaving India permanently. So in that situation, you can see I will not fall in this normal individual case. Now I will fall in this special case. You and me both. You are also individual citizen. I am also individual citizen. So suppose you get an offer from outside India for job. So you are leaving India permanently. If I am going outside India for travel purpose to attend someone's marriage, etc., this special case not applicable. Normal condition case would be applicable. But if any individual who is citizen of India going outside India for employment or business purpose, or as a member, as a crew member of Indian ship, that means as an employee of an Indian ship. So for those individuals, those are citizen and going outside India, and that should be permanent nature. Going outside India for employment or as a crew member. Now they will be treated as resident in India only if they fulfill condition number 1, this condition. So if I am equal to more than in India 182 days in India in previous year, then I will be treated as resident, else I will be treated as non-resident. Let me give you an example. Suppose CA Ankit Sharma, अपना एग्जांपल लेते हैं. Suppose CA Ankit Sharma leaves India on 1st July 2025 for employment outside India. He is a citizen of India and never went outside India before. Now you have to understand that in this question, the individual, the assessee, is leaving India. He is also citizen of India, leaving for employment purpose. So now this question needs to be solved as per a special individual first case. So in this case, only first condition need to be checked. And now you can see, because I am leaving on 1st July 2025. So for how many days I am in India in this previous year? April 25, 30 days, May 31 days, June 30 day, and July 1st also included, because the day of departure will be treated as stay in India. So I am in India for 92 days in this previous year. And I was in India for more than 365 days in previous year. This condition also satisfied, but this condition need not to be checked, because I do fall in the special category case, individual citizen going outside India, employment or a crew member. And if I fulfill all these conditions, then only first condition would be applicable to treat me a resident. I did not in India for 182 days in previous year. I am only in India for 92 days. So that means I would be regarded as non-resident. And let me tell you one thing. Being a non-resident is a good news from the point of view of taxation. A non-resident need to pay less tax in India. So this is a benefit provided. You should not think, especially if we do fall in a special condition, that is a good news. In the examination, if there is any question, first of all, you have to check whether we do fall in a special condition or not. If you fall in a special condition, then you have to find out your residential status on the basis of special condition cases. If a special condition cases does not applicable, then you have to check both condition. So it's vice versa. You do not need to apply basic condition first. First of all, you have to check whether do I fall in special cases. If yes, then question would solve from these conditions. If not, then we have to apply basic condition. Suppose in this case, I have changed the question. I am not a citizen of India. I am not a citizen of India. So now I am an individual going outside India for job, but I am not a citizen. So I will not fall in a special individual case. I will fall in this case. And now in this case, I will fulfill condition number 2 because I am in India for 92 days and more than 365. Then I would regard as a resident and question will solve further. It's clear now? Without whiteboard, it's really difficult to work this word file. Okay. So what do we need to do when there is a numerical question, practical question to be solved? First of all, you have to apply So first of all, you have to apply the special cases and you have to see whether I do fall in a special individual case or do I fall in a normal individual case. In a special individual case, you have to just check one condition. 60 days condition is irrelevant. Now there is second special case. There are three special cases under special individual case. First was for those are leaving India. So if you are leaving India permanently, if you are going outside India permanently for employment purpose or as a crew member of an Indian ship, then you have to check only condition number 1. Ashwani wants to ask something. Let me see. If in B I stay less than 182 days in India, then A2 will not apply. Exactly, Kuldeep. If you do fall in special individual cases, B category cases, then only 182-day condition is applicable. If that is fulfilled, you are resident. If that is not fulfilled, you are non-resident. Pranav is asking, sir, what about Indian flights traveling abroad? So those are the pilot, air hostess, etc. In that case, they need to be checked whether they are in India or outside India. So they're called a logbook. In logbook, every day status of those pilot, air hostess has been recorded. And on the basis of that, you can find it out whether how many days they were in India or outside India. Ashwini Das is asking, what is the difference between individual and special individual? There are individual, normal individual cases, Ashwini, and special individual cases. Those do not fall in special individual cases. These are special cases. Case 1, case 2. These are special individual cases. So these are special. Those do not fall in special would be solved as per normal individual case. In normal individual case, there are two conditions. If you fulfill any of that, you would be a resident. In special individual cases, there is one special condition only, 182 days. So the difference is if you do fall in special individual cases, special condition 1 applicable. If you do fall in normal individual cases, you have to check both condition to become a resident. Nagaraj is saying resident status a matter of citizenship. No, citizenship is different. I have just discussed citizenship based upon your permanent address and it would be checked from your passport. It does not have anything or any connection with the residential status. On the basis of citizenship, you can just find it out whether special individual cases condition applicable or normal condition applicable. Pranav, sir, what about defense forces who moved outside Indian territory for operation? There also record book has been kept. If number of days condition has been fulfilled, they would be resident or non-resident. Okay, next is Now, condition number 2 of special individual cases. So, first was for those individual. Understand the concept. Condition 1 for special condition was for those individuals, those are leaving India permanently and those are citizen of India. Now, condition number 2. This is for individuals those either citizen of India or person of Indian origin. A new concept is there now, person of Indian origin. Once we will complete the individual concept, we will solve illustration, example, etc. and we will go through with the notes also. Fine. So, first condition was only for citizen. And the second benefit is for individual, those are either citizen or person of Indian origin. Now, what is the meaning of person of Indian origin? Let me discuss it with you. Person of Indian origin means, suppose we have to find out that whether Mr. A is a person of Indian origin or not. Or you can check this condition upon yourself also, whether you are a person of Indian origin or not. Let me take one other sheet, Control N. On this page, we will solve this. So, person of Indian origin, suppose we have to find out whether Mr. A is a person of Indian origin or not. And this condition you can check on yourself also. So, for the purpose of Mr. A, we have to see whether the birth of Mr. A or Mr. A parents or Mr. A grandparents. We have to check if any one of them born in undivided India before partition. So now you have to check upon yourself whether you have born before the partition of India, Pakistan partition 1947. So if your birth is before partition, no. If your parents' birth before partition, I believe no. If your grandparents born in undivided India, so if any one of them, so we are talking about all of these, so if any one of them has born before undivided India, you will be called a person of Indian origin. Suppose the grandparents born in undivided India. So if grandparents born in undivided India, Mr. A would be regarded as person of Indian origin. So you can check upon this condition upon yourself that if you, your parents or your grandparents, if they are born in undivided India, in that case, you will be regarded as a person of Indian origin. Suppose grandparent was born in Bangladesh in 1942. So at that time, it was the part of India. So it has been treated that grandparents born in undivided India. So Mr. A would be regarded as person of Indian origin. Suppose grandparents born in Karachi in 1941. So again, you will be treated as person of Indian origin. If nobody has born in undivided India, not you, not your parents, not your grandparents, then you will not be treated as person of Indian origin. So you can check upon yourself whether you are a person of Indian origin or not. Grandparents includes maternal as well as paternal, both. Matlab, Dada Dadi and Nana Nani, both are included, not only Dada Dadi. So technically we are talking about 7 people. You, 1, parents 2, and 2 maternal grandparents, 2 paternal grandparents. So that would be total 7 people we are talking about. So out of these 7, anyone, if anyone has been taken birth in undivided India, then you would be regarded as a person of Indian origin. Understood? So the definition is important to make you understand that what is the meaning of person of Indian origin. So the condition, special condition number 2 is for individual who is citizen or person of Indian origin both. Remember carefully. First condition is only for citizen, not for person of Indian origin. If you are not a citizen, then you cannot get the benefit in first condition. So now we are moving on to second condition. So we were discussing B case, special individual cases. Condition 1 we have discussed already. For individual, those are citizen of India going outside India for employment or as a crew member of an Indian ship. We have discussed that in this case only 182 days condition would apply. If you fulfill it, you will be a resident. If you do not fulfill it, you would be a non-resident. So condition number 2 now we are discussing. This is applicable for individual. Those are either citizen or POIO, person of Indian origin. Both can take the advantage. And now these individual citizen or POIO, those reside outside India. They are those individual, those are residing outside India permanently. They have settled in USA, UK, UAE, outside India. They are settled, but they came to visit India. It's like you all must have some relative or friends or neighbors, maybe. Those are residing outside India. Your cousin, your relative, there must be someone who residing outside India. And they do visit India to meet you or to arrange marriages or to stay for some days in India. So now we are in first case we were discussing. In this first case we were discussing for those person, those are going outside India permanently. In second case, we are discussing those already residing outside India permanently. But now they are just coming India for visit to meet their relatives, to be the part of their country for any function, etc. So it is for practically those your relatives, those are NRIs, those are staying outside India, etc. And now those are coming to India for just visit. So if they are coming India for visit, that means they are coming India for temporary. In that case also, same case applicable. If they fulfill 182 days condition, they would be resident in India. And if not, they would be treated as non-resident in India. So if any of your relatives, those are either citizen or POIO, they just come for visiting to India. So they will be treated as resident if they'll stay in India for 182 days or more. That was special condition number 2. There's last condition number 3. After that, I will take the queries. The third case. Now this third case, you can see in this first and second case, there is only one condition applicable, 182 days. If applicable, resident, non-resident. The third special case is having two conditions. One is exactly 182 days same and one more new condition. And that new condition is only applicable for this third case. Only is for third case, not for first and second. The third case is for those individual, those are citizen or person of Indian origin. Same. Okay. So if you are an individual and person of Indian origin, and if they are coming to visit India. You can see this is similar to condition number 2, but there is some additional condition. And if they have earned total income, if they are having or if they are earning total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources, Indian source in previous year. So because now these are a special person, they are not just coming for visit, they are having some business or they are having some source of income from India. So for condition number 2, only individual, citizen, POIO visit India. Again, they are same. They are residing outside India. They are coming India for visit. Till now, condition exactly as per point number 2. But there is additional. If they are earning income from India more than 15 lakh from Indian sources in previous year, and if they are visiting, if they are earning, if they are not earning income, they will fall in point number 2. If they are earning income less than 15 lakh, they will fall under point number 2. But if they are earning income more than 15 lakh in previous year, then condition 1, more than equal to 182 days in India, same, they will be a resident, but there is one new condition for those. And new condition is almost same as per basic condition number 2. What was basic condition number 2? More than equal to 60 days in India and more than equal to 365 days in India in 4 preceding previous. Exactly same condition, just double the days. More than equal to 120 days in previous year in India plus more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year in India. So only these days has been twice the days of the basic condition number 2. So if you are an individual, citizen or POIO coming to visit India, do not have any income from Indian sources, then point number 2 applicable. One condition. Having source of income, Indian income, but not more than 15 lakh. Point number 2 applicable. Only one condition. Having income from Indian sources more than 15 lakh. Then one condition as usual need to be applicable. This is new condition need to be checked. And it is exactly same. Just 60 days has been replaced by 120 days. Now resident, non-resident concept has been completed. If out of these no condition has been fulfilled, then he or she will regard it as non-resident. Otherwise, resident. Abhi individual, resident or non-resident concept has been completed. I'm not saying individual full concept has been completed, but yes, now we can understand what is the individual, resident and non-resident concept is there, except deemed resident case left. In the starting chart, we have discussed there are resident section 6.1 and there is deemed resident section 6.1. So 6.1 is very simple. That will not take more than 30 seconds. But we are just discussing section 6.1 was the detailed and complicated provision. So now let me see what are your queries. Okay. What is undivided India? That is before partition of India. In 1947, India, Pakistan is having partition. So before that time, before 1947, August 14 day. So that the partition day was 40, before 14. So if before 14th August 1947, the exact date is before 14th August 1947, if you, your parents or grandparents born in undivided India, anyone, you will be a person of Indian origin. POIO does also known as NRI. Yes, Neeraj, correct. So when we say a foreigner means that non-resident, that person who reside outside India permanently and not a citizen of India, not a POI. What is the difference between a non-resident and NRI? The difference is this. NRI means those non-resident. Those are still either citizen of India or person of Indian origin. So suppose if I went outside India permanently, if I go outside India permanently, I'm not going to come back. So I would be non-resident for next year. But because I would still remain the person of Indian origin for my whole time, that cannot be. Citizenship can be changed, but I will be a POIU always. So I will be called a NRI. So NRI means those individuals, those are staying outside India permanently, but either they are citizen of India or they are person of Indian origin. So your relatives, those have been gone outside India, they would be non-resident, but because if they are POIU connection in India and citizenship is still in India, those we will call NRIs. Neeraj saying, sir, if NRI do online work of bookkeeping and earn 20 lakh from Indian company and comes in India for taking payment and then leave India, so he will not be considered as resident. Like, what is the meaning of income earning from Indian source? This concept yet to discuss. In this chapter also, there's a concept of incidence of tax in which we will discuss income arises or deemed to be arises from India. So that would be discussed in detail over there. So after that, you will understand what is the concept of income of from Indian source. For being POI, can we consider great grandparents? No, only grandparents still we have to check, not great grandparents. We cannot consider it. Sir, FEMA Act 1999 also same as it's registered as 120 days stay in India. I don't know about the FEMA Act. About the tax income does have that condition. Pooja is saying, sir, how we will come to know whether to apply special, individual, normal? If in the question that person is going outside India, then you can see if he's a citizen, then a special condition need to be applicable. If somebody is coming for visiting from outside India, and if he's a citizen and POIO, then you have to apply a special condition. If these visiting individual citizen or POIO earn income from India, then we have to apply third condition. If it is a normal case, which does not fall in any of these category, that would be a normal individual case. For example, suppose Mr. Justin Bieber, fine. Suppose he comes to visit India. Justin Bieber comes to visit India. He is not a citizen of India, not a POIO. Now tell me, is it a special case or it's a normal case? Both conditions need to be checked or not. So, do Justin Bieber fall in a special condition number 1 or 2 or 3? No, because he's not a citizen, not a POIO. So, more than 182 days condition or more than 60 plus more than 365 days condition would be applicable. That's what why I was saying. When there is a question, first of all, you have to check whether it does fall in a special case or not. If a special case is applicable, need to solve the question as per special condition. And if it does not fall in any special case, then need to applicable as per normal conditions. I hope it's clear now. Who was asking? Pooja. Next is clear? Okay, well done. Mr. Anil is saying something. Uh, Quality analyst saying, sir, originally Rishi Sunak from UK's Indian origin. I don't know, and I don't want to comment on those things. If he does fulfill this POIO condition, then conditions these could be applicable. So in third special case, income tax department is more careful as the funds are flowing from India. That's why, yes, you can say that, of course. That may be the reason behind it. Okay. If a person having before partition born in India and now living in Pakistan due to partition, for which country he pay tax, it will depend upon the country's income tax provision. If he's earning from there, he might be paying tax from there. No need to pay tax from here. You will understand this concept when we will discuss incidence of tax topic in this chapter. Diya Jain is saying if normal individual case, basic condition 1 satisfied, then we go for B special condition. For normal individual, yes, agar if it's no, first of all, we have to check the special cases. In case of individual, check if they do fall in special cases 1, 2, and 3, then apply special cases. And if they do not fall in special cases, then you have to apply the basic case condition 1 and condition number 2. Do not worry, we will solve illustration. These are simple questions. Don't worry about it. Aditya, if someone works in Union Territory is a part of India. Okay, so now Mustafa again summarize the provision. Yes, now you can say the summarized provisions are fine. Pranav is saying, does non-resident means NRI? No. Non-resident could be a normal non-resident, and if they are a person of Indian origin or citizen, then they would be a NRI. Like Justin Bieber would be a only non-resident. But Priyanka Chopra, because she is still a person of Indian origin, but she's a non-resident, but she would be read as NRI because she still have connection as a POIO from here. Linga is saying, sir, how to remember so many different cases and ROR? There are not so many different cases. Yet to come more. Do not worry. And then nothing is difficult. It's just like that. We did not practice it yet. Once you will revise, once you will solve question, you will find it out. These days concepts are so easy. You have to check what? You have to check 365 days condition plus 60 days, 182 days condition. That's it. Special cases applicable, then condition would be only 182 days and a third category condition. It would be solved. Relax. Yes, Neeraj, of course, union territories are part of India. Okay, so okay, before going for a break, I am giving you a question to solve, and we will see if you are able to solve this question after the break. Okay, so this is a question for all of you. Read it carefully. Mr. A, citizen of India, who reside outside India in USA, fine, comes to visit India. ये एग्जाम में आया हुआ क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है? Comes to visit in India for 200 days on 1st December 2025. Find out residential status of Mr. A. So this is a question for your break time. You can try to solve it, and we will discuss this question after the break. I believe you must have taken the screenshot, etc. Let me see, is there some query? Okay, so we will go for a short break, Mr. Manish. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I believe you must have taken your tea, coffee, etc. So I have given a question before we left for the break, and I believe you must have solved it. Mr. Nagarajan is saying non-resident. Then he's saying, sorry, sir, he's resident, but not ordinary resident. So we did not discuss about the ordinary resident concept. We just need an answer regarding the resident or non-resident till now. Let me see. Is this question is for this current year? Of course, Pooja. Aditya is saying non-resident, sir. Diya Jain is saying Mr. A comes for India for 200 days. Hmm. Non-resident, she's saying. Aditya is saying non-resident. Pranav is saying sir, he is a non-resident of India as per section 611, but if he is stayed in India for 365 days or more, no, he did not stay in India for 365 days or more. Mr. Linga is saying non-resident. Well done. Hari Vansh is saying resident. Shamli is saying non-resident. Tiwari is saying not a resident. Not a resident. Ishwarya is saying. Aswani is saying non-resident. Archana is saying resident. Pooja is saying non-resident. Satish is saying resident. Chandana is saying resident. Non-resident as per Adil. Neeraj is saying non-resident. Ajay is saying non-resident. Hina is saying resident. Shraddha is saying non-resident. Achatya is saying non-resident. Mahek is saying resident. Who has left? Sara is saying non-resident. So there was a tricky question, and you must have seen that Mr. A is a citizen of India who reside outside India and USA, comes to visit in India for 200 days on 1st December 2025. So we have to see whether this case does fall in a special condition case or not. And if you see, a citizen of India who reside outside India in USA. So because a citizen of India who reside outside India comes to visit India, so that would fall in the special case. And that would be my special case number 2. Citizen stay outside India and comes to visit. Because income information does not give in, so we will apply point number 2 in this case. So as per special case point number 2, he could be a resident if he satisfied 182 days or more condition. Clear? And he comes to visit for 200 days. So initially, you may think that he is a resident in India because 182-day condition has been fulfilled. But no. Lot of student has given the correct answer. Well done. Why no? Because the reason is we have to see 182 days in previous year. That is 25-26. That is from 1st April 25 till 31st March 26. As soon as we saw 200 days, we think this condition has been fulfilled. But he comes to India on 1st December. So we have to see from 1st December till 31st March 26. How many days he was in India? So you will see in this case, December 31 days, January 31, February is not a leap year, and March 31. So out of these 200 days, he was in India for 121 days only. The balance number of days, that means the balance 79 days, he was in India. Out of these 200 days, he was in India 121 days in previous year 25-26. And 79 days is 26 and 27. These days fall in another previous year, not in this previous year. So in our previous year, he was in India for only 121 days, and that is less than 182 days. So technically, he will not be regarded as a resident. He would be a non-resident. Understood? Clear, Ashwani? I guess your doubt must be clear now. Dhanlakshmi is saying resident. No, it would be non-resident. Okay, students, I hope you got this question. It was a question which has been asked in the examination, I believe. Okay, so now let's move on to the provision as per from the notes. So you will get all the diagram concept we have discussed. Under the Income Tax Act, individual and HUF, they could be regarded as ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. All other person could be only resident or non-resident. Person of Indian origin definition is here. You can go through it. This is the diagram overview of chapter. So the three broad categories on the basis of their status, on the basis of person, there are technically could be three broad categories: resident and ordinary resident, resident but not ordinary resident, and non-resident. So these categories for only individual and HUF. Okay. For other than individual HUF, there are only two categories: resident and non-resident. So individual HUF could be resident, and they must have sub-classification like resident, ordinary resident, resident, not ordinary resident. Need to be discussed yet. We will discuss it in individual case. Deemed resident also we have to discuss. Then they could be non-resident. All other could be resident or non-resident. Now the condition, if you see the basic condition, the normal case, resident status under section 6(1). An individual who fulfill any of the following basic condition would be regarded as resident. Those are the starting condition we have discussed. If he is in India for 182 days or more in previous year, or if he is in India for previous year 60 days and in 4 preceding previous year 365 days or more. So if you fulfill any of these conditions, you would be a resident. But now we are having some special cases. These are special cases. And we have technically 3 special cases. One is for individual being a citizen of India, leaves India as a member of a crew or for the purpose of employment. So in this case only condition 1 would need to be fulfilled. Otherwise he will be a non-resident. What is condition 1? More than equal to 182 days. If he satisfied this one, he would be a resident, else non-resident. Case number 2, special case number 2. A citizen or a person of Indian origin who comes on a visit to India. Again, only one condition would be fulfilled. Otherwise, he or she would be non-resident. Case number 3. Individual, citizen or POIO coming to visit India but having Indian source income exceeding 15 lakh rupees. In such case, having total income other than income from foreign source, that means income from business source, if it is exceeding 15 lakh in the previous year, he would be treated resident if he satisfy any of these two conditions. More than equal to 182 days or more than equal to 120 days in previous year, and in 4 preceding previous year 365 days. So in third special cases you have two options. If you fulfill any of these, you would be resident, else non-resident. There's some clarification for you, like continuous stay does not required. We have discussed it. The day of departure and the day of arrival would be treated as stay in India. India means the territorial water limit also include India. Special provision is for crew member, that we will discuss later. First of all, we have to complete our normal provisions. So individual not yet finished, yet to discuss more. Got it, sir. Sir, where can I get these notes? That would be on BOS site. I believe that must have been uploaded. I guess not yet uploaded on the portal. I guess after today's class, that is going to be uploaded on the BOS portal, so you can download it from there. Okay, got it. So moving on to the provisions, further provisions we could say. Individual not yet finished. We have just understood how to calculate a resident or non-resident in case of individuals. But yet to discuss regarding just a second. No, a lot of windows has been opened. Let me close them. So moving ahead, Control N. Okay. Next sheet for further provision. So we just discussed how to find out the individual residential status. That was our individual. Whether he would be a non-resident or he would be a resident. In case of resident, there is section 6.1 and there is deemed resident section 6.1a. In section 6.1, we have discussed there is normal case. In normal provision, there are two conditions. Basic condition, more than equal to 182 days. I am writing in short, or more than equal to 365 days. In 4 preceding previous year plus more than equal to 60 days in previous year. There is, that was case A. Case B is special cases. Special cases, there was 3 category. We have discussed it. Person leaving India, person coming to visit, person coming to visit having total income exceeding 15 lakh rupees. This has been sorted. Now we are discussing what is deemed resident. Now deemed resident concept has been applicable and you might feel it somewhere relevant to this third point. The conditions are almost same but slightly different. It is applicable on individual. Only those individual, those are citizen of India. So if any individual who is citizen of India, read very carefully, if any individual who is citizen of India and and of course he is residing outside India, and if he is earning total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian sources on which he is not liable to tax, he is not liable to tax anywhere. Now this is difference from point number 3. There is slight difference. First of all, POIO has not been included in deemed resident. So if you are an individual who is citizen of India, residing outside India, having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian sources, but he is not liable to pay tax on that income outside India. So he is not liable to pay tax on that income, not anywhere. You should write down outside India. He would be treated as deemed resident. So any individual who is a citizen of India, who reside outside India, having total income exceeding 15 lakh rupees in the previous year, which he has been earned from sources in India and on which he is not liable to tax outside India. So this is a new word, not liable to tax outside India. That was not in B case third category. PUIU is not there. Can you tell me a very huge difference between section 6.1 and 6.1a? A very huge difference between section 6.1 and 6.1a, between normal resident and deemed resident. One condition is asking one condition which is exist in all cases of section 6.1, but that one condition is missing under deemed resident concept. Can you tell me which condition is then? A condition which is exist in all cases, a common condition which consists in all cases of section 6.1, but that condition is missing under section 6.1a. Can you identify it? Any one of you? Number of days in India. Correct. Very well done. Days. No, not 182 days. It's about days. There is no days condition in deemed resident. There is no visit condition in deemed resident. You can see in normal cases, there are condition of staying in India is there. That is whether 182, whether 365, whether 60 days. You have to be in India for some days at least for at least 60 days. But you will see in case of deemed resident, there is no concept of visit in India. Whether you visit India, whether you do not visit India, whether you come for one day or you do not come for any number of days. So visit is not mandatory. It does not matter if you are a citizen of India and earned income from Indian sources exceeding 15 lakh on which you are not liable to pay tax outside India, you would be automatically deemed resident. Whether you comes to India or whether you do not come to India does not matter. So that is a difference between normal resident and deemed resident. So you will be called a deemed resident. Now because he is not coming into India, he does not reside in India. So practical problem may arise how government will recover the tax. So that is none of our concern. But that person is going to be regarded as deemed resident. How tax going to be recovered, etc. That government will decide. Okay, so do not bother about it. So now we have completed our individual, resident and non-resident concept. But now there is one more categories we are going to discuss. That is ordinary resident and not ordinary resident in different scenario. We have to see that. So if individual becomes resident, look, if it becomes non-resident, the question ends, or we can say our solution ends. But if individual become resident, whether as a normal resident, whether as a deemed resident, anyhow, if he become resident, then we have to find whether he would be a resident and ordinary resident, or he would be a resident and not ordinary resident. We have to find it out. Whether he would be a resident and ordinary resident, he would be a resident and not ordinary resident. If he would be a resident, then how and he will become a resident and not ordinary resident? So for case A, that is normal case, and for case B, 0.1 category special case and 0.2 category. Provisions are same. For special case number B, third case. In that case, there were two conditions, 182 days or more, or 120 and 365. For that, resident and not ordinary resident conditions are different. And for C, which is deemed resident, we have to find out in all three cases when somebody will be regarded as a resident and not ordinary resident. If resident and not ordinary resident condition does not satisfy it, they will be called resident and ordinary resident. A good news, deemed resident will always be treated as resident, not ordinary resident. Solved. So deemed resident would automatically be resident and not ordinary resident. We do not need to check anything in case of deemed resident. If they are deemed resident, they would be correct answer is resident and not ordinary resident automatically. Now in case A and B, A case was normal case of resident. Normal case means when we apply the basic condition 1 and 2. B case first category in which person leaving India for job, only first condition applicable. B second case when individual citizen POIO comes to visit India, only first condition applicable. B third case individual POIO citizen comes to India having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian sources. In that case, B third category. So we have to see when these cases will be regarded or when these resident would be regarded as resident and not ordinary resident. So for these cases, if they fulfill any of these two conditions, any one of these two conditions, that resident would be regarded as not ordinary resident. If any of these following conditions would be fulfilled, that resident would be regarded as resident, not ordinary resident. The condition number 1, if he is less than 730 days, if he is less than 730 days in 7 preceding previous year in India. Now remember, we are talking about 7 preceding previous year. No treatment in previous year required. In previous year become resident as per above condition. But if that resident was in India less than 730 days in 7 preceding previous year, then he or she would be regarded as not ordinary resident. For example, let me solve this with the help of an example. Control N, one more sheet. There is Mr. A, who is a non-citizen, reside outside India, but he comes to visit every year for 100 days from last 15 years. Suppose Mr. A, who is a non-citizen of India and not a POI, if question does not mention, we will consider it not a POI. So Mr. A, not citizen, who reside outside India. Suppose he reside in USA. He comes to visit India every year for 100 days from last 15 years. So somebody was asking a question regarding IPL players in the chat box earlier. So that is a kind of question. Those sportsmen who comes to visit India, maybe for 100 days they are in India, etc. So we need to check it out whether they would be regarded as resident, non-resident, resident and ordinary resident, etc. So first of all, tell me this thing. This is also a question which has been asked in the examination earlier. So first of all, tell me, is this a normal individual case or a special individual case? Tell me, student. Do we need to solve it as a special case or it's a normal case? First of all, let me tell you again, in every question, first of all, decide this thing, find out this thing, whether it's a normal case or it's a special case. Pooja is saying normal. Well done, correct. This is a Archana is saying special. Why it is special? He is not a citizen of India. For a special case, you have to be either citizen of India or person of Indian origin. If you are not a citizen of India or you are not a person of Indian origin, then always normal case would be applicable. Archana, okay? Normal case because he is not a citizen of India, not a POIU. For a special case, the first requirement you should be a citizen or person of Indian origin, at least. So that is a normal case. For normal case, we have two basic conditions. That is either more than equal to 182 days. Somebody was saying very difficult provision, how we will learn them. Now you will see when we solve question, it is a very normal problem in every numerical topic. That's a kind of a numerical topic. In every numerical topic, when you go through with the provisions theoretically, you will always find it difficult that how we are going to solve it. Until unless you will practice it, you will always feel these are very difficult. Now, this is a question which has been asked in examination, C examination, and we are solving it. After solving it, you might feel, okay, that chapter is nothing. It's very simple. You just need to learn the provisions. So, first of all, it's a normal case. Normal case is having two conditions, 182 days in previous year. Or if you learn the provision correctly, you can easily solve the numerical. More than equal to 60 days in previous year plus more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. Now we have to check both conditions. So he comes to India for 100 days every year from last 15 years. So he is in India for 100 days. So this condition cannot be fulfilled. This condition is fulfilled because 100 days in previous year and in 4 preceding previous year, he must be in India for 400 days. So what he became? He became a resident. First of all, we find our residential status. So he is a resident. Now, resident case, we have to further solve whether a resident and ordinary resident or resident and not ordinary resident. Now, he became resident as per case A. So, we were having two conditions. The first condition we are discussing was less than 730 days in 7 preceding previous year. So our previous year is 25-26. So leave that year. 7 preceding previous year. That means 24-25, 23-24, 22-23, 21-22, 20-21, 19-20, and 18-19. Clear? So in last 7 preceding previous year, he should be in India less than 730 days. Not even 730, less than 730. That means 729 or less. And if we will see, he comes 100 days from every year. So in last preceding previous year, he would be in India for 700 days. So 700 is less than 730 or not? Yes. So this condition has been fulfilled. And as soon as this condition fulfill, you need not to check second condition because one we need to fulfill. If first condition has been fulfilled, the answer would be that he is a resident plus resident, not ordinary resident. Solved. This is an examination question. So what is difficult in this? When you revise provision once and then you practice, the numerical would be easy. Yes, until you will revise, until you practice, you will always find provisions difficult. Any issue in this condition, students, in this question? Is there any query, any problem, any difficulties? Let me know. देखते हैं भाई किसको प्रॉब्लम है इस केस में. अर्चना is saying okay. Pooja is saying okay. ठीक है. Shamli is saying clear. Well done. Archana is saying clear. Adil is saying clear. Clear. Clear, Shireen. Very good. Less than 730 is required, Adil. Less than. That means if 730, condition would not be satisfied. It should be 729 or less. Dhan Lakshmi is saying now it's clear. Everything would be clear. Just relax. We have a problem class on 1st of November. I have told you, no. In that class, basic concept chapter 1, residential, everything is going to be discussed numerically. And after that, 1st of November, you would understand that, okay, these chapters are nothing. Even you can solve examination kind questions after 1st of November out of these chapter 1 and 2. Satish is saying no issue. Shraddha is saying, sir, how is he resident and not ordinary resident? Because to become a resident and not ordinary resident, we have to satisfy this condition. Every year he comes for 100 days. So in 7 years, he has come 700 days. For becoming a resident and not ordinary resident, he has to be in India less than 730 days. He was in India for 700 days. So he would be a resident and not ordinary resident. Okay, no problem yet. Pooja is saying okay. Swarya is saying normal case. Very good. Tiwari ji is saying normal. Harivanshan is saying clear, sir. Linga is saying clear. Pranav is saying, sir, you can please take back to resident, not ordinary resident classifications slide. We will get back to it. Don't worry. First of all, let me see. Is this illustration is clear for every one of you? Mustafa is saying clear. Yes, Ashlesha is asking why ordinary resident status to check any taxation charges? Yes, if you are an ordinary resident, you have to pay higher taxes. What is the impact of this? That would be the part of part 2 of this chapter, incidence of tax. So first you will learn the residential status. What is the impact that we will see in the next session. Mr. Sayyed saying if it is greater 730, then it's become ordinary resident. No, we have to see the second condition also. If the second condition, I'm just teaching you first condition first. Then we have one more condition of resident and not ordinary resident. If that does not fulfill, then he would be a resident and ordinary resident. Shalini is saying clear. Condition 1 is clear. Prajapati is saying clear. Theosami is saying clear. Kuldeep is saying Hina is saying I'm little bit confused in preceding previous year. So what is our previous year, Hina? It is 25-26. Our previous year for examination is 25-26. Right? Preceding previous year means leave this previous year. Preceding year means previous year after this year. So we are discussing 7 preceding previous year. So this is my previous year, left it. The last 7 previous year would be called preceding previous year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. General term, nothing like income tax. Mujahid is saying clear. Anything else? Ajay is saying cleared. Clear is saying by Neeraj. Shraddha is saying clear. All clear. Mustafa is saying. Mustafa, we will discuss how we need to pay higher taxes. What are the benefits that you will come to know in the next session, Harivansh? Done, sir, it's clear. Any query from anyone? Adil is saying clear. Pooja is saying no doubt. Chalo, very good. So that was condition number 1. We have seen that. Now condition number 2. We have to see. Go back to our this diagram. So for becoming a resident and not ordinary resident, you have to fulfill any one of these conditions. First we have discussed, now second. If you do not fulfill, if you are not able to fulfill the condition number 1, then there is second condition. And the second condition says you have to be non-resident. You have to be non-resident in India for at least 9 preceding previous year out of 10 preceding previous year. This is a condition. You have to be a non-resident for equal to or more than 9 preceding previous year out of 10 preceding previous year. So previous year is 25, 26. Leave it. First condition was saying in last 7 preceding previous year, you have to be at least in India less than 730 days. Now what condition number 2 says? It says now last preceding previous year. That means 24, 25. 24, 25, 23, 24, 22, 23, 21, 22, 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16-17 and 15-16. So these were 10 preceding previous year. Except the previous year, these are 10 preceding year. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 10. So first condition was that out of 7 preceding previous year, you should be less than 730 days in India. If that is fulfilled, you are a resident and not ordinary resident. Work done. But if it does not fulfill, then you have to check second condition. And it says, out of these 10 preceding previous year, out of these 10 preceding previous year, you have to be non-resident for at least 9 preceding previous year or more. Either out of 10, for 9 preceding previous year, you have to be non-resident, or all 10 preceding previous year, you have to be non-resident. If you are a non-resident less than 9 preceding previous year, this condition would not be fulfilled. So now we have to check the residential status in each year. In this year, you have to check residential status, whether he or she was a resident. So he or she would be non-resident. So out of 10 preceding previous year, out of those 10 preceding previous year, for 9 preceding previous year, you have to be a non-resident. If that condition fulfilled, you would be a not ordinary resident. If this condition does not fulfill, this condition does not fulfill, then you would be a resident and ordinary resident. Let me show you how. The example we were discussing, that extend that example. So this example we were discussing that he comes to India for 100 days every year. Now we are going to change the number of days. Now suppose in the above example, we have changed 100 to he comes to India for 120 days every year. All the informations are same. So now suppose that Mr. A comes to India for 120 days every year. So what will happen? Normal case applicable. First condition was more than equal to 182, does not fulfill. Second condition more than equal to 60 plus more than equal to 365. So he was in India for 120 days and in 4 preceding year 480 days. So this is fulfilled. he or she become resident. Now after resident, there are two conditions to become a not ordinary resident. The first is less than 730 days in 7 preceding previous year. So technically we are having our previous year 25, 26. Leave that. Now 24, 25, 23, 24, 22, 23, 21, 22, 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are 7 years. In 7 years, he or she must be less than 730 days in India. Because he or she is coming for 120 days every year. So technically, in 7 preceding previous year, they are in India for 840 days, which is not less than 730 days. So now because in 7 preceding year, 840 days, he was in India. So this condition does not fulfill. Now we have to check the second condition. What was the second condition? Out of 10 preceding previous year, you have to be 9 year or more non-resident. Now for 10 years, 17, 18, 16, 17, 15, 16. So now we are having 10 years. In 10 years, he or she need to be at least 9 years non-resident. So we have to check the condition in 24-25. Again, in 24-25, she was in India for 120 days. He was in India for 120 days. So that 182 condition not satisfied, but 120 plus 480 days in 4 preceding year. So if we will check his status in 24-25, he will again satisfy condition number 2. So he will become resident. In this year, he will become resident. Because this is 120, in last preceding 4 year, 480 days condition would be fulfilled. When you will check in 23-24, again 120 days. And in last 4 year from this year, again 480 days. So again, he will be a resident in second year also. And in third year also. And in 4 year also. If you see, he will satisfy this condition in almost like 6 or 7 or 8 years. Out of those 15 years, technically till 10 years, every year he would be a resident. Because he will be in India 120 days in that year, and in last 4 preceding previous year, 480 days condition would be fulfilled. Now, very interesting thing. You might be feeling that this calculation will take a lot of time because for 10 years, I have to calculate his residential status again, and it will be very time consuming. But let me tell you, it will not so. If I'll say out of 10 preceding previous year, you have to be non-resident for at least 9 years. Out of 10, at least 9 years you have to be non-resident. So now a very layman thing to understand, if he becomes resident in first year, and if he become resident in second year also, if somebody out of 10 preceding previous year became resident for 2 years, now how many year left? Only 8 years. Now this condition cannot be fulfilled because we need it for at least 9 preceding previous year non-resident. What the examiner does, he will make you resident in last 2 or 3 years. As soon as you will find 2 years as a resident year, as soon as you will find 2 years as resident year, that means this condition now cannot be fulfilled. Because 10 में से हमें 9 साल क्या चाहिए? नॉन रेजिडेंट. अब अगर कोई 10 में से 2 साल रेजिडेंट बन गया तो बचे ईयर कितने? 8. उन 8 को चेक करने की जरूरत ही नहीं. Because if out of 10 preceding previous years, somebody become resident for 2 years, that means now remaining years are 8. So even if he fulfill all 8-year non-resident condition, still this condition cannot be fulfilled. So you do not waste time. As soon as you find 2 years resident, then you can write it down directly that this condition cannot be fulfilled. So he will be called a resident and ordinary resident. In our example also, he became resident in this year, resident in this year. So technically he cannot fulfill this condition, not even this condition. So what he will become? Resident and ordinary resident. Understood? This was the case, what we were discussing. Might be you're feeling how complicated it is, but let me tell you again, when we will solve examples, you will find it very easy. You have to just focus on learn the provision first. Once you will learn the provision, revise it once, and then my responsibility on 1st of November, you will feel chapter 1, 2 was nothing. Okay, so that was condition 1 we have discussed and condition 2. If no condition has been fulfilled, you will be a resident and ordinary resident. That was for case number A, and for case number B, 1 and 2 case. Now we are moving on to case number B, third case. The good news, the first condition is same, less than 730 days. For B category, same condition. The very good news, second condition also same. 10 out of 9 years non-resident. For B third category, these two conditions are new condition is it. So if B category third special case in which individual citizen or POIO comes to visit India and having total income exceeding 15 lakh and become resident because he was in India for 182 days or 120 days or 365 days. For that person, there is a third condition also to become a resident and not ordinary resident. The third condition is if in previous year, the year in which you become resident, if in previous year, he is in India for more than equal to 120 days, but less than 182 days in India. So he became resident because he was in India for more. Yes, yes. Please continue. So student, there was a glitch. I guess now everything is audible. So where we stuck, that was, I guess, condition number 3. So let's discuss it once again. So for a B category of person, B category, third person, there was first point is same, second point is same. The third is a new point which says if that B category third person stay in India in the previous year more than equal to 120 days, but less than 182 days. In that situation, also, he would be regarded as resident and not ordinary resident. I have also prepared a chart and that would be uploaded on portal, I guess. Let me show you that. In that chart, all condition has been in detail it has been explained. That will really going to help you. In the same place, everything has been discussed. You can see that. So this is going to help you a lot because in today's multiple chart was there. So we were making those chart on different sheets. But when you will see each and every condition on a single chart, that would be really easy for you to understand the provision in a single way. So this is the chart. This is going to be uploaded on portal. You can download it and you can see all individual condition, resident, non-resident, HUF condition, the RNOR, the ROR condition, the company, firm, companies, residential status provision, everything has been described in this chart very clearly and in a single place. Like whatever the meaning of deemed resident you can see. If citizen of India reside outside India comes to visit India or not, having exceeding income 15 lakh, not liable to pay tax, he would always be a deemed resident, which will always be a resident and not ordinary resident. We have some special provision also for crew members, and we have left with HUF status of being a resident and ordinary resident, etc. That we are going to discuss in the next session. So now this is, let me see any queries are there. No queries yet. So very small story. And if you have any query in illustration number 1 to 12 in basic concept chapter, you can ask me. Before that, there is a small story for all of you. Very good and very interesting story. And story would be in Hindi, of course. So एक बार एक राजा था और बहुत बहुत अच्छा राजा था, बहुत ही होशियार, बहुत ही वाइज, वेरी वाइज। तो उसका जो पड़ोसी राजा था वो उससे बहुत जलता था। उसको लगता था कि मेरे को इस राजा की बहुत इंसल्ट करनी है। तो उसने अपना एक बहुत ही समझदार मिनिस्टर उस राजा की इंसल्ट करने के लिए भेजा। जो अच्छा वाला राजा था उसको ज्वेलरी की बहुत पहचान थी। उसे कोई भी ज्वेल दो आप तो वो आइडेंटिफाई कर देता था कि ये असली है नकली। तो उसने एक बहुत अच्छी प्लानिंग करी उसके पड़ोसी राजा ने उसकी इंसल्ट करने की। उसने अपने एक मिनिस्टर को भेजा 2 डायमंड्स लेकर। और उस मिनिस्टर ने उस राजा के सभा में आकर बोला सबको कि राजा आप बहुत ही होशियार कहते हैं आपको कि आपको ज्वेल्स की बहुत पहचान है, आपके मंत्रियों को, मिनिस्टर्स को ज्वेल्स की बहुत पहचान है, आप बहुत वाइज हैं। तो मेरे पास ये 2 डायमंड्स हैं, एक असली है और एक नकली। एक कांच का है और एक रियल है। अगर आप आइडेंटिफाई कर दें, और जो असली वाला है वो बहुत 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 कॉस्टली है, बहुत बहुत महंगा था। तो अगर आपने पहचान लिया तो ये असली वाला आपका, और आप नहीं पहचान पाए तो आप ये एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे कि आप उतने होशियार नहीं है। उस राजा ने कहा ठीक है आप मुझे दो। उस राजा ने उनको डायमंड्स को देखा लेकिन वो आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पाया, दे वो एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर। देन उसने अपने मंत्रियों को दिया, मिनिस्टर्स को चेक करने के लिए, और सबने कोशिश करी बट वो कोई भी आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पाए कि कौन सा असली है कौन सा नकली है। राजा बहुत परेशान हुआ बिकॉज उसको लगा कि ये काफी इंसल्टिंग हो जाएगा, सब हंसेंगे। तो उस राजा का जो एक मंत्री थे वो ब्लाइंड थे, वो ये सब सुन रहे थे। तो उन्होंने कहा लाइए राजा मुझे दीजिए मैं चेक करता हूँ। सब हंसने लगे कि जब हम आईज वाले भी नहीं चेक कर पा रहे तो जो ब्लाइंड है वो कैसे पता लगाएगा कि कौन सा असली है कौन सा नकली है। तो उसने कहा राजा आप दो मेरे को मैं चेक करता हूँ। उसने राजा से दोनों डायमंड्स लिए और 2 मिनट के लिए बाहर पहुंचे ओपन एरिया में, और 2 मिनट बाद वापस आए और उन्होंने बताया कि ये वाला जो मेरे राइट हैंड में है ये असली है और लेफ्ट हैंड वाला नकली। और वो करेक्ट था। तो जो दूसरे राजा का मंत्री आया था उसने कहा आपने ये कैसे पहचाना, आप तो ब्लाइंड है। तो उसने कहा जब मैं इन दोनों को सनशाइन में लेकर गया बाहर धूप में, तो जो कांच वाला था, ग्लास वाला, वो गर्म हो गया थोड़ी देर में, हीट करने लगा था वो। नहीं। सेम वे जो आप लोगों की स्पेशलिटी है, जो आप लोगों का रियल टेस्ट होता है एग्जाम में एटसेट्रा में। आज वीडियो स्टक फिर से हो गया क्या? क्या इश्यू है नेट में? आज फिर से स्टक हो गया, आई गेस। क्या क्या नेट आपको वहां पर मेरा रेड दिख रहा है? इश्यू क्या आ रहा है इस नेट?
फाइन सर।
आज ही हो रहा है फिर? ठीक हो गया। देखता हूँ। तो जो रियल आप लोगों का टेस्ट होता है वो एग्जामिनेशंस में होता है। एग्जामिनेशन के प्रेशर में आप सब बच्चे अच्छी तरह पढ़ाई करते हैं, आप सारे के सारे बच्चे अच्छी तरह स्टडीज करते हैं, बट एग्जाम में हम सबके मार्क्स वैसे नहीं आते, हम सबका रिजल्ट वैसा नहीं आता। जस्ट बिकॉज द रीजन एग्जाम वो टेस्टिंग टाइम होता है। जो बच्चा उस प्रेशर को हैंडल कर लेता है वो रियल डायमंड बन जाता है, सीए। जो नहीं कर पाता उसको फिर दोबारा से अटेम्प्ट करना पड़ता है। तो आपकी लाइफ में एग्जाम और उससे पहले भी प्रेशर होगा, किसी की फैमिली में प्रेशर होगा, किसी की किसी और चीज में प्रेशर होगा। आप लोग पर्सनली भी काफी चीजें स्ट्रगल कर रहे होंगे, मे बी स्टडीज से भी, किसी को कोई हेल्थ इश्यू हो सकता है, बट हु विल नॉट लूज देयर नर्व्स, हु विल फोकस ऑन देयर स्टडीज, और जो उस प्रेशर को हैंडल कर लेगा, दैट विल बिकम द रियल डायमंड। सो दैट वाज स्टोरी फॉर यू। सो होल्ड दैट नर्व्स, अपने टैलेंट को, अपने प्रेशर को फेस करना सीखिए, एंड इन दैट वे यू कुड फाइंड वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट इन योर लाइफ। ओके। एनी अदर issue? Let me see if there is any question. Illustration, any question in illustration? Syed Hussain. सर इलस्ट्रेशन लेवल में पर्सन की एज गिवन है और टैक्स लायबिलिटी अंडर डिफॉल्ट रिजिम फाइंड करना है, तो बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन लिमिट। लुक, इन केस ऑफ शालिनी, डिफॉल्ट टैक्स रिजिम, एज डज नॉट मैटर. In case of default tax regime, whatever age is there, 4 lakh would be the basic exemption limit always. In case of optional tax regime, the age limit changes the basic exemption limit. But in default tax regime, age limit does not affect your calculation for basic exemption limit. Shreen is saying in illustration number 12, we have to calculate the total income for 2 times. One, while calculating under default tax regime, yes, we have to calculate the total income twice, because in the question there is a requirement that you have to calculate your tax liability for assessment year 26-27. So when the question says you have to find out the tax liability, then you have to calculate the tax twice, under default tax regime as well as under optional tax regime both. If the question mentioned specifically that you have to calculate tax as per default tax regime, then only you can find it out only as per default or option. But if the question is silent and they just ask you to calculate the tax calculation, then you have to calculate tax as per both regime. Shalini is saying, but study material में optional regime की basic exemption limit नहीं. Look, because Shalini, illustration 12 says you have to calculate the tax liability. The same thing I was explaining to the other student, because it is not mentioned that you have to calculate tax as per default or optional. That's why in illustration number 12, they have solved the question in both ways. When they solve as per default tax regime, you can see the point number A, they solve as per default tax regime. They consider 4 lakh rupees as basic exemption limit. And then when they solve as per normal provision, they have taken the uh, exemption limit of 2,50,000. And when the A changes, the default tax regime, the point number B they solve as per the same tax, but when they solve for optional tax regime, they have taken the basic exemption limit of rupees 5 lakh rupees. Clear? Green error next. Okay. Sci-fi saying, by saying in exam, can we write the illustration in the pattern you have explained in class? You can find out the tax calculation as per that, and yes, you can do that. Mustafa is saying, sir, just big chart. I have to take screenshot. It did not upload, so we can read it if it is not uploaded. Do not worry. I will upload it myself right now after the class. I am going to upload it right now. So you will get that chart as soon as possible. I guess it will take 2-3 hours. After that, it has been shown on the portal. So do not take the screenshot because it would not be clear that much. The PDF file I am going to upload, so it would be really clear to make you understand the whole provision at once go. Any other queries, friends? He's saying again paused. So there's a confusion in story, I guess. When the blind person, जब वो blind person बाहर गए, then जब वो वापस आए, तो जो sunshine में था हीरा वो गर्म हो गया था, and जो diamond real था वो नहीं हुआ. So diamond does not lose their characteristics, whether in pressure, etc. In the same way, you have to be very patient, very calm, whether even when conditions are not in your favor. So that was the whole point of that story. Adil is saying डिफॉल्ट से सॉल्व किया है बट क्वेश्चन में नहीं दिया एज 65 ईयर इलस्ट्रेशन 8 दिल इज आस्किंग illustration 8 we have I guess discussed in a most beneficial manner. Illustration 8, Adil, it has been asked that compute the tax liability of Mr. D, age 65, in a most beneficial manner. Then means we have to solve it via both cases, default tax regime as well as optional tax regime. And default में क्वेश्चन में जब तक स्पेसिफिकली नहीं दिया होगा किस रिजिम से सॉल्व करना है तब तक आपको दोनों से ही सॉल्व करके आंसर निकालना है. एज 65 है उसका कोई भी इंपैक्ट डिफॉल्ट टैक्स रिजिम में नहीं पड़ेगा. एग्जेम्पशन वुड बी 4 लाख रुपीज. बट in case of optional tax regime, you can see we have taken the 3 lakh rupees exemption because he is a senior citizen. Kuldeep, I have to paste the entire chart of registered status in front of my slide table. Yes, exactly. That's the exact way of that is called photogenic memory. I do the same thing. When you have a very huge chart or some provision which is really difficult for you, you can paste it in front of your study table or in your room somewhere. When you will see that regularly every day for 2 or 3 minutes, that is also automatically going to be pasted in your memory. That's a scientific thing that is called photogenic memory. Shraddha is saying thank you. Illustration 8 under default tax regime. If you'll, Shraddha, if Shamli, if you'll calculate the marginal relief in case of default tax regime, in case of income has been given 5 crore 1 lakh rupees, you will not find any marginal relief. You will try to calculate it, it would not be there because the surcharge rate changed under default tax regime after 2 crore. If it is an optional case, the surcharge limit also change after 5 crore. It becomes 37%. But in default, the surcharge limit would be 25% after 2 CR to any amount of limit. So if you try to calculate the MR in this case, you won't be find that tax would be lower than the income. If still there is any problem, you can ask me this problem in next session because we have already 953 is here. So we will solve it in that class. Still, if there any problem in that question. Mustafa is saying, okay, sir, I think I never worry about DT as you are the great sir. You always get motivated helping us to revise. Thank you, sir. Good day, Mustafa. Thanks for your appreciation. Okay, Adil, no more query. Kuldeep, no more query. I guess nobody has no more queries. I will try today's sum of residence. No. I am giving you homework, students. Do not go anywhere. There is illustration you have to try in case of residential status. I write it down. So there is homework for all of you. In case of residential status, you have to try illustration number 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 illustration you have to try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try these illustration. We will discuss those illustration in the next session and other questions also. Sayed, what you want to ask, beta? Thank you for Sayed. Please send your queries in chat box. If there's any query, don't raise your hand again and again. I guess those not more query over here. So Manish ji, can we close the session? Yes, done.